What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're out here at the Kayak Adventure Series. We're in Pennsylvania on the Allegheny River. We're in a new state that we haven't fished before, on a new body of water we've never fished before, and it's a river, and it's just, you know, it's Midwest-ish, but it's like all states, all rivers are kind of different, and they have their own little nuances.
They flavors.
Flavors is a good way to think about it. So we wanted to make a video here. If you're a beginner or an intermediate fisherman, fisherwoman, and you want to get out on the water and catch some fish,
but you want to go somewhere new, somewhere that you've never been before, something that's totally foreign to you, how do you get ready for that? How do you get prepared? And then how do you find ways to be successful in those situations?
So we're gonna talk to you guys about how we break this down. I'll also point out that we got some hot tips here from Jeff Little. Go check out The Little Things, his YouTube channel. The guy's been in kayak fishing for years and years and years, and he knows a lot of stuff.
He's the expert.
He is the expert. He has a wealth of knowledge to share with you on that channel, which I really appreciate, and maybe you will too. But he dropped some knowledge bombs today, so we're gonna get into that.
Well, he did it at the Bass U brunch. So Bass University, they put on a brunch for all the anglers, and anyone who's entered into the event can come to this brunch. It's before the first half day of fishing on the Friday.
And learn some stuff and get some food.
Learn a ton of stuff, have a bunch of fun, meet some people, and we got freaking lunch to go and breakfast at the event. So like, how do you beat that?
All right, so let's start out with prep. There's a lot that goes into prep. What'll help is if you know where you're going, for one. So like, what body of water are you gonna hit? So for example, we're at the Kayak Adventure Series. There's a lot of bodies of water that qualify for the tournament that you could go out and you could fish. However, that presents an issue, a conundrum, if you will, because you have to make a decision.
Eventually got to go one place. You can't be on every single river. So how do you pick your spot on the river, or how do you pick your lake, that sort of thing?
What you could do is if you have like an Omnia app, if you have a Fish Brain app, or whatever your preferred app is, you can sort of narrow it down based on like catches that you're seeing in those areas. Be aware that it might be like not on the spot specifically. It's not like a pinpoint drop of like,
not sitting
that fish is not still there paying rent.
Here's what you want to do. I mean, I use, Jeff talked about a couple of options on apps. I like OnX because it tells you where public and non-public waters and launches are. So if you're on a river system, I go by launch. Like where could I go? And I'm going to check things for the river like flow. So I want to find out how high is the river.
Is the water up or down?
Yep, and you can just see like if you check like the name of your river, the state, and then flow chart, you'll see a chart that says like high, meaning lots of flow, fast, and then lower on the chart is lower, skinnier, and that sort of thing. And then you just do Google Maps and you find your launch point and then figure out, okay, how long may or may not take me? Am I going to go upstream or downstream? And then that's how you do your river spot. For my lakes, I'm looking for a quality launch, a decent size. You can check DNR local websites and look for the fish catches and things like that. But mostly, can I launch there? Can I park there? Does it look like a lake that I think, by the way I fish, I'll be successful? Is it similar to something that I fish normally? Those are great places to start.
And for that, you're going to look at the topography. We'll give you a good idea of what the structure is like around that area. You can also zoom in on Google Earth. You can get some ideas there. That's not always up to date, right? So just keep that in mind. Check the date of the upload for the Google Earth. Otherwise, you might be saying there's pads right there. Then you get there. They were there 3 years ago. They're not there right now.
If you Google the name of your lake, the state, and the navigational chart,
it's going to give you a lot of stuff.
You can get a ton of information. There's one nautical website that basically says like, hey, here's all the depth for your area. And it's amazing how much information is there. And that's $0, 0 cents.
And for some dollars and some cents, you could get Navionics, for example,
or
which
Omnia
is
Pro.
Omnia Pro, Navionics, whatever. Like, there's a lot of great options out there. So prep work, know the area you're going to before you go there. That's going to help you select the rods that you need to bring. It's going to help you select some of the baits that you need to bring, because although you're going to a new spot and you're going to have an inkling that you want to bring everything. You think you think you want to bring everything, so you have your options. Don't do that. Minimalize. Go minimalistic as possible. I brought 2 tackle boxes and 2 bags of plastics. I
have the exact same thing. I have 3,600 size boxes, so I'm not bringing a ton. I brought 4 rods. That's it.
So try to minimize as much as you can. Again, the better you know the spot you're going to, the more you can easily do that and be more selective in what it is that you're actually bringing to the water.
The last thing too is play to your strengths. Don't be like testing out new stuff. Don't go to the store and buy a bunch of new things you've never used before.
This is not the time for that.
It's not the time. Like anytime you go to a new body of water, you're gonna have a lot of apprehension. It's gonna take time, and you want to just stick to your confidence baits. And even if it's not the perfect bait, just know that it's something you have confidence in and you can catch a fish. I promise you that will raise your chances of success significantly than trying to try new things in a new place. It's just going to be a lot to handle. So try and minimize the noise, stick to what you know.
When it comes to sourcing the baits that you're actually going to use, rods, reels, all that, again, you can lean on, if you're not in a tournament setting, local knowledge if you know anybody there. If you are in a tournament setting, The app information is there.
Yep.
It is what it is. But if you generally have an idea of like what that water is going to be like, the other thing you would look at is water temp. But we talk river flows, water temp, all of that. So I have an idea of what types of lures I want to take with me, what I'm going to be fishing.
Omnia Pro is phenomenal for that. They even show you temperature by like specific areas. So like within a bunch of small areas, they'll tell you what the water temp is, and it is live information. So
that's up to date.
That was probably the most useful thing that the Omnia Pro app is worth the price of admission to get on and be like
Huge
an Omnia
value.
Pro member. Totally worth it.
So you can see here we got our rods staged up. We got some bait staged up. Something that I really like is having something like the track pack where I can just grab a couple of baits that I think are going to work, and they're just up ready to get tied on. It's your call. Do whatever you want to do. You can also just take a crate, couple of boxes, some plastics, and be in a good position there. How we select the lures and the rods is generally based on a couple of things. So a tip that we pulled from Jeff Little is to upshift and downshift, meaning go like more aggressive, less aggressive. So we brought a bunch of baits that could be like good follow-ups. I could upsize, and I could go more loud, and I could go more aggressive with like a chatterbait with a big old paddle tail on it. And then if that doesn't work, I can downsize. I could go to the Micromax chatterbait if I wanted to, with a little chatter shad or a straight tail, right? So you can do things from top to bottom, and then you could go away from the sound, the clanging and banging, and go with just a straight jig
Ned
or
rig, whatever.
Yeah, Ned rig, something like that.
And what Jeff's talking about is he's trying to develop a pattern. So when you first get out to a place, you don't know the fish, you don't know the area. And so what you're trying to do is understand, hey, what are they keying in on? So what you want to do is you want to start with what you're confident in, right? Start with your confidence. If you're a finesse fisherman, start finesse. And then if you're seeing like, look, I'm getting a lot of strikes but no takes, or I'm moving it too fast. If you think you're moving it too fast and fish are
short
coming
striking.
out, and they're short, just adjust in the moment. And that's why Jeff's saying, have that sort of striation to be able to say, okay, I had my Ned rig tied on, I got something else staged. The next highest thing would be like a larger size jig, slow it down a little bit. That's not working, size it up again, try a paddle tail. Hey, are they chasing something moving? You're gonna raise it in the water column, increase the speed and size, and then go up again. Okay, they're not after that, but I'm getting more action. You're on the right path. Go to the chatterbait and go all the way up to top water if they're getting really aggressive. But what you're trying to do is develop that pattern, find what's working, and then you can narrow it from there. Try a little brighter, a little slower, little tweaks to just get the one bait, hopefully, that they're actually keying in on. And then do not be afraid to change. If the temperature changes, it's going to swing throughout the day. Usually right around that 10, 11 o'clock, everything's going to change. So you got to be ready to adjust. And then
again at 4 and 5.
Exactly. And that's where Jeff's like, hey, have that sort of top to bottom covered of loud, high, flashy, all the way to down, slow, finessey, and then be ready to play.
And that covers the lure side of things, but then you also got to look at your boat positioning and where those fish are coming in from, right? So if I have them keying in on a lure, is the pattern related to where they were positioned? Was it under a tree overhang? Was it by a laydown? Was it coming off of a log that was there? Oh, there's a dog here. Oh, hi. Kind of look at where those fish are at as you're getting the draw, right? So as they're coming out, whatever it is that you're drawing them out with, cool, that's giving us a hint as far as to what's working with the lure, but also where were they and how are you positioned? So are you positioning yourself in a way where you're doing a 45-degree angle cast? Are you going straight 90-degree from your boat and like running along a drop off behind a boulder, behind a laydown, whatever it is, right? So if you can take all of those tips, those hints, put all those things together, that helps you understand the pattern. So now you know, you know what's going on.
You're getting closer.
You're getting closer. Things are starting to come together. And the more you can dial in that pattern, the easier it will be for you to put numbers in the boat and hopefully bigger size in the boat as well. So if you look at the baits that I've got staged up and what Paul has staged up here, you can see that he's got like a BFS swim bait. This would be high in the water column. This one is a shallow diver, actually. We've got bottom contact. We've got square bills. So mid water column, bottom water column, high water column. Go over here. High water column, bottom contact. We've got, wherever I can run this fast, I can run it slow. So I can actually do a couple of different depths on that one. We've got pretty high water column here with a belly weighted fluke. But again, I can dead stick that and I could also fish on the bottom. We've got a lightweight top or bottom. And then I've also got the big swim bait. Well, big relative, but a 6-inch swim bait there. So I can vary things up. Again, that essentially helps me just cover more water in different ways without having to constantly retie lures. Now, again, I know, hit me up in the comments. There's 6 rods here. There's 3 rods there. If you have more than 3, you're a dum-dum. I've seen the comments. Don't care. Bring as many rods as you feel comfortable with without having it be too overwhelming. Typically, it doesn't matter what water I hit. I take 6. because I have 6 rod holders. Therefore, I fill them. I take 6. But go with what you're comfortable with. If it's 4, if it's 3, if it's 2, if it's 1, whatever it is. And just be prepared, or bring a combo that allows you to hit those different water columns, as well as upshift, downshift in terms of aggressive versus more finessey lure presentations. So if you have like 2 setups, you could have a spinning setup, casting setup. That's usually what we do on the river at home when I know what I'm doing and where I am. And then, you know, if I'm on a lake, typically I bring 6. So I've got everything from like a heavy stick down to a medium for casting. And I've got like a medium heavy and a medium light, or a medium and a medium light for spinning. So it just covers the water column spectrum and the aggression spectrum, so I can do everything that I need to do in order to catch some fish.
One thing about research, make sure you have a backup option. Don't pick one spot and be like, this is the one, every fish will be here, I'm done.
This is the spot. Look, right here.
Sometimes you get to a boat ramp and it's completely choked out and there's no place to park. Sometimes you get to a boat ramp, it's not what you thought it was. Sometimes you get to a place on the river, you can't even launch there because it's all muck or something. Like you, or
it's above or below a dam, and the dam is flowing super heavy today, so you can't get in there. You know, you never know.
You just don't know. So always have a backup option. That'd be what I would leave you with on the prep piece.
Final piece, let's talk about safety. Obviously, you're going to a new body of water. I should say rules and regulations and safety. So real quick, rules and regs, get a fishing license.
For the place you're fishing, for the state you're fishing, for the
days that you're there.
Like, just if you're going to another state, be really cognizant of that.
Yep, so we're in Pennsylvania. We got our Pennsylvania licenses for 3 days because the tournament's 2 days and maybe we want to fish a bonus day. I don't know.
Absolutely do that. And then just make sure you have your tags for your trucker registered. Make sure
your
whatever
boats,
you have to do, right? Just make sure your boats are registered if they have a motor.
If required in that state, you might have to make sure you have a registration or something from your state, like your driver's license, obviously. And you can say, I'm from Michigan. I have to register there. Here's where I'm registered, whatever.
Yeah, and then also just know the rules. So Jeff and I were always like, we always kind of forget because we're so used to, we're like big drop shot fishermen. You can't use a drop shot in a lake or in a river, in Michigan. I'm sure it's the same in some other states, but it's like you got to know the rules and regs for the area you're going. So
how many hooks?
Yes, all that kind of. Can you use live bait if you're a live bait fisherman? Whatever it is, right?
No a rig.
How many hooks? Just know all the rules. Don't go outside of that. Don't put yourself in a bad position from the jump
to get in trouble.
Yeah. The other thing too on safety is you are in an unfamiliar place, and depending on how far from home you are, you may not have someone to call that's close by. So you don't want to get stuck in a situation where you're far away from help and you have an emergency and you're not prepared. So, you know, fire starter, space blanket, depending on the temperature, make sure you're dressed for the occasion, bring extra clothes if you need to. I always have a whistle. It's great to have a knife. I always carry a knife as well.
PFD, no brainer.
Absolutely have a PFD. Always have a paddle. Even if you're on a lake, you're going to want those backup options. Even if you have pedals and you have a motor, look, 2 is 1, 1 is none. So and if you need another one, I always have my paddle. So just bring the paddle and just do all those extra little things that you might not do. So like tie down all your stuff if you can, like just to make sure you don't lose something important. Keep your cell phone. Maybe if you keep it in the pocket, keep it in a waterproof bag instead, just to make sure that you're staying safe when you're far from home. Catching fish is great. Not making it home is not a joke. So just be safe, especially in an unfamiliar area. And then the last, and just make sure that you have a float plan. Tell someone where you're going. Wife, sister, brother, dad, anybody, friend. Just say like, hey, I'm going to be here and here. I'll text you when I get home, or I'll text you if there's a problem. That way they're on standby and someone at least knows where you are.
So there you go, guys. Hopefully that was a lot of tips to really help you out. And this, obviously, we're talking about traveling and doing this. This applies to your local waters. So if it's your local lake, pond, river, a new spot you've never fished before, and you're not sure what to do, this is generally the process that we go through, and it's what we went through coming here. And we actually did our prep an hour ago.
But we did it.
Tournament starts in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. We got to get going. All right. Perfect. We're going to launch here in the next 4 minutes and go fish the Kayak Adventure Series. If you haven't seen our video on the Kayak Adventure Series, catching all these fish and proving whether this worked, what we just talked to you about or not, go ahead and watch that. So make sure you are subscribed, ring that notification bell, smash a like on this video if we helped you catch a fish. That would be fantastic to hear. And we want to hear from you guys in the comments. We respond to everything that you guys have. We want to be a resource for you, both for gear reviews and all around. We all want to catch fish. That's what it's about.
And we want to have fun and be safe.
That's the number one rule. Have fun. And part of fun is safe.
It really is.
You have to be safe.
It helps to not get hurt when you're having fun.
Also that. But thank you so much for watching this video. We're going to hit the water right now. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Okay, bye. Look at that. Look at all that beautiful scenery. Look at that mountain right there.